family. All right, so today I'm not drinking out of my fancy glass. I'm drinking out of my Stanley. Now, this Stanley, I didn't buy it because if you know anything about me, I'm as frugal. I'm the most frugal person you'll ever meet. And I can't understand. There's a lot of companies that make this kind of a container, thermos kind of thing. But this thing, especially if they collab with a company like Starbucks or with another company, this could run you like $100. This particular thing right here, I'm sure you guys know, right? I'm giving these ads. I shouldn't even be doing this, but anyway. So what I'm having today, instead of my soda water, I'm having ice. I like to chew on ice, and when I go pick up my daughter from work, she gives me a cup of ice, and it'll last me for the day. And even though it's not summer anymore, I still like to munch on ice. So that's what I'll be having during this live. That's what I'll be having. Hold on. So I want to give you two stories. Two stories in one tonight as I munch on ice. Because the two of the biggest enemies in my life are my mother and my sister, and they're actually in the house right now, which I found was interesting that I was going to do this. It's almost like they knew I was going to do this. So my sister's in the house and my mom's in the house. And to be honest with you, they're the most pretentious people you'll ever meet. They don't present as what they really are like. Hold on a second. There we go. So let me give you the first story. The first story, when I was little, when we were all little, and I didn't know the calling on my life. I used to, it's that kind of thing about buying things for people just because started when I was young. So when I first got my job, when I first got my job where I got money, I didn't know what to do with the money. I used to buy things and give things to people. Like, so my sister, I'd go to the store and I'd find like a blazer that would look good on her. I thought I'd buy it for her, and she'd take it, but she'd just throw it away. And that's why I didn't know she didn't like me or she hated me. I didn't know that. Anyway, at one point, I guess we used to share this same room when we were younger, and we used to have a lot of a lot of fights in here. Anyway, she there's two-pronged story to this with her. So at that time, I discovered that I loved merengue and any Latin dancing, Latin music, and I liked house music. I'm a type of person I love, and I guess it's through my dad and the love of music he instilled in me. He used to teach us how to put vinyl down and change the needle and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I love music at a very young age. I learned to love the traditional reggae, reggae, soca, but I also like Latin music. So when I got older and I came across a house music, it's similar in its feel to Latin music. So I had a friend or acquaintance that took me and a couple girlfriends and her husband, who was Spanish, to a Latin club downtown. And let me tell you, I had the most fun in my life. I danced. I had so many. They're so chivalrous. The men are so chivalrous, and the women are so feminine. And I love that about that culture. I had the best. I'll never forget that night. Anyway, after that, I started to really, you know, do things that allowed me to really enjoy the music. So I used to go out to house clubs a lot. And one time, a few friends and we drove to Buffalo, and I bought a pair of shoes. They weren't expensive. They were like maybe $10 then. And my intention was, for house music, people who are into house music at the time, depending on what you want to present, usually for women, I used to put my hair back the same way you see it now. I had a pair of glasses. At the time, I didn't need glasses. I might need glasses now, but I didn't need them then. I'd wear like long straight leg pants and, kind of men looking kind of shoes and a blazer and a tie, but maybe a fitted shirt. Like you kind of mixing genders in relations to what you're wearing. All right. So when I went to Buffalo, which is just across the border from here. It's probably but I'd say about an hour drive from here. And I bought a pair of shoes, put them in the box. My intention was to, at some point when I'm going out, to wear these shoes. And one day I was ready to wear these shoes and I couldn't find them. They were still in the box, everything. I couldn't find them in here. So I said, you know what? It's okay, whatever. Always been the type of person, it is what it is. If it's not there, it's not there. So I don't remember if it's a year. I think it was years later. Years later, my sister's friend approached me with a concerned tone. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Right. Remember, I didn't know my sister didn't like me at the time. She told me that my sister took my shoes and she brought them to school to practice Latin dancing. Like, it seems like everything I did, she would do the same thing. I'm 5'9". My sister's like 5'4" or something like that. I play basketball. I started to play basketball because I'm tall. And everything I've done, acting, singing, everything I've done, she's done the same thing. It's not in our family line. It's not like we have a long line of people who are in theatrics. It's just whatever I do, she seems to want to do. It's everything. I'm going to say that blatantly. It is what it is. Anyway, so I talked to her and I said, are you sure? Yeah. She goes, yeah. She was practicing for something at school, some Latin dance. We were all dressed up and she put on the heels. The heels broke. She took them off and threw them in the garbage. And I was like, what? Then my whole life, my whole thinking, my mindset just completely changed. I could not believe that had happened. I'm not thinking to myself, what would I have done to her to make her feel this way about me? Anyway, I put in the back of my mind, but at that point, the thinking behind me being safe around here was skewed. Like, I didn't know how to think of her. Another story about her and me, our relationship. There's a time that we were in this room and we were cleaning up, getting rid of things, and I guess she bought a pair of shoes from somewhere. I don't know if it was a Buffalo or wherever she bought the shoes from, but they weren't expensive. At that time, we were just getting to know, what our style would be like or whatever else. And she had these platform shoes. And mind you, this idea of working out, I always had it. Even when I wasn't playing ball, I used to do this thing called buns of steel. I used to always have my weights. Even when I had my daughter, I was always working out. So I was always fit. So she gave me these platform shoes. And they weren't something that I would wear to a club or something. So I wore them outside. I wore them around the house. If I was going to the mall, I used to always dress up. Like, I'd have my hot shorts on, my tank top, and my, whatever shoes I was wearing. So I was outside doing something to the car. I don't know if I was cleaning the car or what I was doing. I think I was cleaning the car. And the reason why I think I was cleaning the car is because at that time she was just getting into the field she works in. And the doctor she worked under was passing the house. And he honked his horn and drove by, and I waved. I don't remember if it was a day after that evening. She came to me and she said, what were you wearing? What were you wearing today? And I'm like, what do you mean? What was I wearing? What do you mean? And I told her, I described her, and innocently I described to her, yeah, I was wearing a tank top, these shorts, and the shoes you gave me. Not right away, but a couple weeks later, she asked me for the shoes back. And she didn't wear the shoes. She just threw them in the garbage. So I don't know when this started. Maybe before our mother's womb. I don't know. But there was always this hatred that my sister had for me that stems from I don't know what. I don't know what. Now, I'm going to share a story about my mom. This might have a trigger warning for you guys. So just keep in mind that this might irk you a little bit. Okay? When I had my first daughter, I innocently thought that my mom would have compassion for me. She would, help me because I wanted to. The way my daughter came about, and maybe I will show that story right now as well. The way my daughter came about was because I was naive. I trusted the wrong men, the wrong males. And so But when she came into my life, she like basically saved my life. I thought I'm going to do everything I can to make sure she gets everything she needs. Like she just inspired me to just be a better me. You know, I may not have looked out for myself in relations to choosing the right people for me, but I definitely decided I was going to choose the best person or people for us, for her and I was going to try anyway. So I was still young. I was 24 when I had her. So, and I was still very lean. I was so in shape. I basically just had, as soon as I had her, my stomach went whoop, like right flat. Like I didn't have much of a tummy. Um, and so and I breastfed her. So at some point, my friends used to say, "We're going to the club. You come in the club." And I'd go to the club, and my mom would babysit her for me. Um, and I moved from this room because I was in here to the room downstairs. It was bigger and it was more private, so I could actually still have a relationship with her father, or we could all kind of like, you know, we could both parent her together, kind of in private. Anyway, one day I came up. She had my daughter. Sometimes she'd come and get her because she's such a cutie. She was such a cutie pie. She'd come and get her and bring her upstairs. One day I came upstairs to get to see where she was, and my mom was breastfeeding her. I actually, I was so shocked. I think to this day, when I think about it, I want to cry. I want to cry. I didn't say anything. I just went back downstairs. I could not believe what was happening. I was just wondering, one, how many times had that happened? Two, you know, what kind of impact was that going to have on my relationship with my daughter? Anyway, and how would I prove it? It was be her words against mine, right? Well, years later, when all this stuff went down and I was separated from my daughters and I was actually in this house, um, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with me, the crazy lady, right? My mom joked with my daughter and said to her, how I used to breastfeed you. And then she'd laugh. And then she would be like, no, my daughter would say, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And she kind of like roll her eyes because really that is the most in, like invasive. I can't think of a word to describe it. I just cringe when I think about it right now. Anyway, she occasionally will say the same thing. She'll joke and say it again. And she said it a few times. And I wanted to say, Barry, I wanted to say, I know that you did it because I saw you. But everyone will find out now. Everyone will know now because now I'm doing this live. This is one of many, many situations and stories I could share about what has happened to me in my life. And I don't know where the hate comes from. I don't know. But all I can tell you is this, that everything has a reason. And I don't know what the reason for all this has been, but you'll see people look in your face and smile in your face and pretend to be kind, and I'm going to say pretend because no one that's kind or good would do any of these things, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect by no means, but these are purposeful things that were done. But that's beyond jealousy. That to me is like, it could be jealous. You know what? I could tell you a couple other stories. There's so many. I don't know what to. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Okay. No, I know. I'm gonna save it for another day because that alone, just rehashing that, is like I talk about it and I almost want to cry because I don't know what to say. I'm thinking about it and I don't know, because right now I'm understanding, the Lord is leading me to understand that He's warned people to stop doing what they're doing. And I don't know if there's even a soul in there, in these people. If God is saying, you know, I'm warning you just to stop doing what you're doing, the witchcraft that you're doing, and they're still doing it. I feel like I'm around, like, you ever see those movies where there's zombies? People just, but I'm not saying they're walking around like zombies, but I feel like there's no There's nothing in there. There's no, like, you look in their eyes and it's just flat. There's nothing, there's no depth, there's no warmth there. And I have to pray about my daughters because they're surrounded by these people. Yeah, hollow. Yeah. And there's a, beyond the jealousy, because with jealousy is a spirit, right? But beyond the jealousy, there's other spirits that come to play. It's like you ever heard of like a legion of demons? So beyond the jealousy, there is pompousness or arrogance. There's a haughtiness about their behavior right now. Like they feel like they've gotten away with something. And this is why I believe there's so many stories. I don't even know. There's so many stories I could share. And this is not even stories that are associated with what's happening with me now. This is when they didn't have the connections they have now. You know, all these things I could tell you about the hatred I've had to experience at the hands of people who are supposed to be my family. Like so yesterday I had shared that I don't believe that family is what we've been trained to believe it is, biblically speaking. We have to understand that family is who believes what you believe. And biblically speaking, I had mentioned, remember, there is Joseph and his brothers who sold him out for slavery. There is I can't remember, was oh my gosh, the father, what's his name? Oh God, I can't remember the name. My mind is just right now. I'm thinking about what I said, and I was just the father who was told to sacrifice his son and had to trust the Lord and went to go sacrifice his son. And the time when he was going to sacrifice his son, the Lord said, "No, hold on, wait a minute. I'm glad that you're faithful, but I do have a lamb over there." I don't know if you remember that story. I can't. What is his name? Abraham. That's right. That's right. Are you good? Abraham. As you put it up, there was it. But I'm gonna give it to you. You knew before I did. I couldn't remember. Right now, I'm just. And so to me, those are normal situations. Fighting demons are normal. Breaking curses to me is normal. This idea of like there's a mom and dad and this whole thing that we aspire to make people believe is a thing isn't really it's not realistic. Especially if we're constantly in warfare, if we wrestle not against flesh and blood but against principalities, powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Leviathan, Python, Behemoth, they're principalities. They are strong. You have to know how to fight, how to war against these things. Scripture has power. And so this, like, I used to feel so bad about what I experienced, and the more the things happened to me, the worse the choices that I make were. But now I'm so grounded in what God showed me, what He's been showing me, and that He's faithful to follow through and protect, not only protect, provide. Um, and I'm so grateful for everything that I have. Like every time I come into this little space was designed by my daughter before they were offered whatever they were offered. And it's such a cozy little nook to me. You know, I have all the things I need. And like I said, if I had a back door, I didn't have to go through the door that leads outside in the hallway. I'd leave out. They would never see me. This is where my mentality's at. So I just want to let you know that is the level of wickedness that I've had to experience at a very young age. I think when that thing with the breastfeeding, I was, like I said, I was 25. I was 24 when I had her, and you must know, if I'm sharing this story for the first time. No, I think I told the daughter I take to work, and she's had so much trauma. She doesn't even want to hear the stuff that's happening in our family. She just wants to walk with blinders. She doesn't want to know. She wants to just be happy. So I don't know, like I know for sure that because of what I went through, I know I needed a savior. And I'm thinking that maybe the reason why my daughters are going through the things they're going through is because eventually if we went through life unscathed and never had an issue, we wouldn't need a savior. We wouldn't feel we needed a savior, right? So as much as they go through things I wanted to protect them from, I have to be thankful that at some point they're going to probably end up calling out to God, because I prayed about them enough that it doesn't matter what's happened right now, what they've been offered, what kind of situation they thought they were going to get, the lies they've been told, the promises that have been made to them, that they're going to seek out the Lord, because that's their foundation. I established that with them. I made sure that they knew how to pray. I make sure I try to take them to church. I try to, and maybe I wasn't the best example, because at that time my boundaries were so skewed. And that wasn't a good example for them. Although I don't think they really followed me. I think they basically tried to pull the wool over my eyes. Really, that's what that did. But I think me pouring love into them helped them to be the women they are right now. They're so assertive, and they're kind, and they're intelligent. They're smart, beautiful. Did I say smart already? You said intelligent and smart's the same thing. they're they're uh they're innovative. They can make a lot out of nothing, just like their mom. So yeah, I still dote on them. I know that the relationship will never be the same as it was, but I still dote on them. I feel that they saved my life. My oldest saved my life. My second daughter, what was her thing for me? The first daughter saved my life. My second one was a gift. My third one was a treasure, and my last one was a surprise. So that's how that went down. They were all a surprise, but like my last one was definitely, I was I wasn't expecting to have her. I was, to be honest, I think I was 6 months, no, 6 weeks pregnant when I found out I was pregnant with her. I don't know what happened, but I was feeling like icky. And I went to the doctors and he says, "You're pregnant." I'm like, "What?" I was doing Pilates. I was running. I was, with my second last daughter, I was running, doing Pilates. I was saving for a house. I was here saving for a house. We're all living downstairs. And I went to the doctor. He says, "Yeah, you're pregnant. 6 weeks pregnant." I'm like, "What?" So when I saved enough, I had to go looking for a house while their children's father was working, sometimes not, but working. And I'd have to take the two of them with me. Looking for a house is exhausting. Oh my, and it was like the blind. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know even about closing costs. I didn't know anything about. No one's explained anything to me. I just had saved money for the down payment, and I wasn't told anything else. I didn't know. I didn't know what to look for, what the reasons why you wouldn't choose a certain house, what reasons why you would choose a certain house. Like I said to lots of people, I don't feel like I was born, I was hatched. There was nothing important to me. There was no guidance. There was nothing. It was just a lot of critiquing. Why'd you do that? I would never have done this. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I just thought I would, I'm really like, this is like sharing this is like a huge part of my healing journey. Because it hurt me. These things really hurt me. Like I said, I don't understand why. And here I am just trying to do what I got to do to get by. Like I'm just like when I went to university, I was already working for the board. So I'd leave work, and I announced to everyone I'm going to university. I'm getting my degree, and so in what I was in the counseling. So and this was at Ryerson. It's at a university in Toronto. So I asked, I thought everyone would, at this time, again, I was naive. I didn't know people were against me. So my job was to figure out who was going to help watch my girls or find a daycare. Right. So my eldest sister offered to watch the girls sometimes. Sometimes I'd bring them to my mom's, and sometimes I would bring them to the university with me. I found actually a daycare there. So I'd leave work. So remember, I have my own students. I'd leave work, and this is like, so the kids are gone. It's 3:30. Then you leave at 4:30. Go pick up my kids, get them dinner or whatever, drop them off at my sister's, and then go, or my mom's, or go downtown with them or without them for class. I don't even know how I did it. I'm thinking about, even just thinking about it is exhausting, but I did it. And this is why I say, like, most of what I've been through has been God. Everything that I did, I was able to accomplish with God alone. You know, I can think about how many times I had to hop on the highway. Remember, I'm coming from Mississauga. I'm coming from one end of the city for about an hour drive to drop off, well, 45 minutes drive to drop off my girls. And this is not even including getting prepared for this. And then another hour drive to go to the university. Then come back, and this is traffic we're dealing with. That's why it's an hour. Then I'm coming back, so it's maybe 45 minutes because there's less traffic coming back, picking up my girls, and then going home. And I did this for semesters. Exhausting. Luckily, some of the courses I took were online. But God's grace, you like, so when people say, you know, they want what I have or they want to do what I do, you're so silly. No one should want to go through what I've gone through. Nobody. You know, I know that what I went through, I'm not upset about it because I know it had a purpose. There's a reason why I experienced what I experienced. There's a reason why I have the nerve to even share it with you. I think that everyone has gone through stuff. This idea of pretending that people's homes are perfect is an illusion. Get over it. No one's house is perfect. Even like watch the royal family. Oh my God, that's the biggest joke ever. The royal family, or watch all these scandals that happen. That is real. We're dealing with spiritual battles. We're dealing with possession. We're dealing with witchcraft. We're dealing with, there's so many things we're dealing with. We're dealing with the situation that needs curses to be broken. We're dealing with so many things. We're dealing with broken vessels right now. This is what we're dealing with, which is normal because if you look at the Bible, like I said, like there's lots of families that were great. Like even Job. Look at Job. Job had a wonderful life. Job had a wife and kids and all you can think of, right? That was the apple of God's eye. And what happened? Satan said, I like to deal with him. And the Lord said, go. So, the Lord said, go ahead, but just don't kill him. Right? What did Job do to deserve what Job went through? Nothing. That's real. That's what, remember, if we're created in our creator, and the Bible talks about that, this is what we should be expecting. So especially when you become a born again believer, this is the kind of stuff they should be preparing us for. This illusion of walking in there with suit and tie or your dress and looking all proper and innocent and flawless is absolute insanity. We should be talking about what kind of curses need to be broken off your line. What have you been through? Because people walking through those doors, especially people who are born again, have been through some stuff. They need deliverance. We need to kind of process things, experience the pain, go through the pain, heal from the pain, and move forward. This idea of like pretending that I'm okay, and then behind the scenes I'm dealing with the deacon or the pastor's wife is all this nonsense. Stop being ashamed. Stop being ashamed of what you've been through. Stop being ashamed of the things that you've had to endure at the hands of somebody else. Stop being ashamed of the decisions you made when you didn't know any better. Stop. Stop. Embrace the things you've gone through. They're in the past. You know better, you do better. And sometimes it's not just what you think. Sometimes it's emotional. We are emotional creatures. Let me tell you something. Right now, the Lord's telling me to eat healthy. If it wasn't for the fact he changes my appetite, I walk into the dollar store and right away they have this way of guiding you like a maze through this maze of chocolate bars and chips and stuff. And I'm like, this is the most wicked thing. This is wicked. Greetings to you. I'm honored. What part of Africa are you from? What part of Africa? Because I can't tell by the name. I'm going to say either Ghana or Nigeria. Kenya. Oh, I feel honored. What a blessing. It's a blessing to have you here. Welcome, family. East Africa. I'm going to get a map. I'm going to start to label on a map. I'm going to have a map here and label where people are from because geography was not my strong suit. It wasn't. I wasn't interested in it. I never traveled much. The only place I went to when I was a child in learning geography was Jamaica. That's it. And places in Toronto. So I really didn't have an interest. If I traveled more, I would have been like, okay, where on the map is this? Because I've always been the type of person to be hungry for knowledge. I always wanted to know stuff. So it was a pleasure. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being here. like I said, trigger. Maybe I should need to put trigger warning in the because the story that I just shared is so. Ugh. Oh, and the fact that so every from that point on, every time she smiled at me, I used to think to myself, "Girl, you don't mean that. You don't mean this. You could not mean that and do what you've done." No. So anyway, and I don't want you to feel sorry for me because everything I went through was for a reason. I was sharing with you the dynamics of what I'm in right now and the people that play a part in what's happening around me. I think the next time I come on, because right now, how much time is it? Yeah, I've been on for a good amount of time. I don't want to make them too long because people have to come back and watch again. And I watch them over too, just to make sure that I know. Sometimes I say something and I realize I say something and I realized I was thinking something different and I said something else. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is me live. This is what I'm doing. It's not edited. It's cool. The next time I come on, I think I'm going to share. Here's a story of something that happened when I had my girls and I was living at my house and I had locked the last children's father out because he was abusive. Um, and among other things. Something had happened with me with a gentleman I met on, what's it called again? Black Planet. And I didn't know at that time how deep the darkness of the people in my life was, how deep and dark it was. And I think I need to share this story because you need to know, first of all, how resilient I am and what I will do for my children, what I will do to make sure that I'm living and here for my, because I thought my life was going to be taken. That's all I'm going to say about that story. That's all you need to know. So anyway, I came on and I did a short to introduce this live, right? This is a side before I go. So I was led to, I don't wear makeup. And so for me, and I'm not knocking makeup. I think makeup is cool. I think a lot of money is being made off of people that don't really need to wear makeup. I think people are beautiful, but whatever. I had put an egg mask on. All right. So I want to see if anyone saw the short that I did before and if you can see the difference, if there's any difference. But anyway, I'm just experimenting with natural things. I've entered myself into something where it's a health and fitness thing. And I feel like I'm representing the kingdom of God. I probably won't get it because um I'm not taking my clothes off enough to show what they need to see to do what I was gonna do. When I run, I wear layers, not because I'm cold, but because I need to cover my butt. I need to cover my this. I need to cover my that. I just feel there's a responsibility for us to not provoke the other gender, if you know what I mean. I think that what women bring to the table should really be more so for their husband or for the person who they're with, as opposed to every man. That's scriptural. So anyway, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Frank from Kenya, and I know we've had people on here from let me see, from Japan. We've had people here from New Mexico. We've had people on here from China, and people on here from a lot of different other places. I'm just so honored. I'm so honored. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you so very much. Again, I'll be putting trigger warning in the description because like I realized how traumatic that story probably was. Because maybe not everyone's gone through something like that, but I know my girls might watch this, and there's some wicked people in my family. Very cruel. Anyway, guys, I love you. Till next time, remember you are made marvelously. You're not a mistake. You're a special, very unique generation of people created specifically for a very special time. If you haven't seen, prayers for the people who are experiencing what they're experiencing in the US. There's something really sinister and dark going on in the US right now with ICE. And I don't know, the prophecy, yes, the prophecy is that they're going to that Mr. Trump has served his purpose and he's going to be removed. Now, how that goes down, there's a prophet named Celestial. Her channel's called The Master's Voice. I've talked about her quite a bit. She talked a lot about what's going on right now, and she's starting to just kind of highlight and bring people back to the prophecy she spoke about and saying how there it is. This is what I talked about. This is it. This is what's going on. So I'm going to put her channel link in the description of this live. You need to follow, like, well, you don't need to follow her, but you need to know what's going on is prophetic, that we are definitely seeing how, okay, I know that they said he was going to be removed. I didn't know how he's going to be removed, but now that I see what he's doing and how wicked people are, I can see it would be easy to kind of anticipate what might happen to him that would have him be removed, if you know what I mean. So I will put the link, like I said, in the description so you can take a look at her, listen to what she has to say. She's gone through a lot of warfare as well. She's done what I don't know how she's doing what she's doing, because what she's saying it's drawing a lot of attention to her, and her channel, like just like mine, has gone through a lot of attacks. So be courteous with her over there. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. All right, guys, until next time, probably tomorrow. Be blessed in the meantime, okay? Your Lord, your Heavenly Father, He loves you so very much. You are a treasure to Him. Like He said, He wishes for none to perish, but for all to have everlasting life. All right? Okay, guys, till next time. Be blessed.